Hey, boys and girls, fellow addicts, aspiring recovering addicts. Man, happy New Year's. I just meditated on some stuff that really kind of fucked me up because I had to remember, you know, it's a good year not to be a heroin junkie. Remember, I was living with my cousin Jody, who's deceased. Um, and I went to see my other friend. My other friend has overdosed and died. But anyway, I was living with my cousin, and I just relapsed, so I was doing kind of crappy stuff, and I was sniffing it. I also used to smoke off tinfoil. My cousin didn't want me to do that. He's like, that's one thing about being an addict. If you don't use intravenously, if you don't use needles or rigs, you can be like, well, I don't use those, so at least I'm not doing that. So you always had to compare yourself against something else. So in recovery, going to meetings, you try to identify with somebody else to try to see if you can put yourself in their shoes, and they'll try to put they will probably their self in your shoes. So anyway, the big story of it was it's the first time. By this time, it was probably 2022, 2020 to 2021. No, 2022. The spring, just getting cold. I just relapsed. I went to see my friend, and he'd always met people that were pretty big, and these people brought in a ton of methamphetamines and were basically giving it to him to give away, and he was never paying them. But they didn't care. They were just dropping it on the town. And this is in Maine. But they also brought pure fentanyl. The guy, I guess, actually flushed half of the ounce that they brought because this stuff was so strong and they didn't know what they were doing. They just sent it out, and people overdosed everywhere. So anyway, I was using weak stuff. I went to see my friend, and me and my friend, I'm very careful with stuff. And this is how it can get you, even if you think you know what you're doing. I was always careful with what I did. I usually tested it. If not, my friend was doing it, and I could tell how strong it was. Well, I had been using basically real stepped-on junk. And I went to see my friend, and he had been up for 4 or 5 days because he was taking methamphetamines. That's what sleep paralysis does to you. You might be a little high, but it's the people that go a week without any sleep. You start dreaming while you're sleeping, it's nuts. But anyways, my friend sets me up. I put it in, and I jam it, and right away, you're like, oh fuck. Next thing I remember, our other friend, who's still alive and is clean, almost 2 years now. I'm very proud of him. He saved me. He used 3 8-milligram Narcans. And I can remember when I came out of it, it's like my life reset. I was like, I opened my eyes, and I remember thinking was I just in the daisies or something? And I got up, and everything was fucking different. So what my friend did was just jam Narcan up my nose, and that went through and ripped every single heroin receptor out in my whole body. And physiologically from my brain to the connections, wherever the hell it goes. But before the pain came, it was 30 to 45 seconds of this strange feeling that I'll never be able to explain. But then all of a sudden, all the pain came, you start, you start getting sick. You start feeling like you have to shit, like you find a bathroom immediately. As soon as I started doing that, like my other friend laughed at me, even though he knew what had just happened. So listen, this is how sick I am. He says to me, you can take bunephrine right now, the orange strips, and you'll be fine. I didn't want to. I said, hey, but after I came out of the bathroom, I was kind of used to withdrawal by then. I'd been through hundreds. I said, I need more. He's like, oh, you're killing me. Like, he wasn't going to make any money anyway. He never did. So he gave me some more, and I had these 3 needles that were like, I had to keep resharpening them and reusing them and cleaning them to make sure I didn't get infection, but they were dull. And since I was so sick, like I had to have him shoot me out. And you're not very, hydrated. So it's so hard, you can't find a vein. Finally, he found one. And, one made me normal. And that, because I'm shaking the whole time, like I really need it or I'm going to be sick. You can get somebody to feel bad, even people that know. But he felt for me because he understood. So I had him give me a whole, another half gram. And I ruined his banker. He was bitching that day, but I got some more. I did more. And I finally got fucked up a little bit. And I looked at my other buddy and I was like, oh, I'll go get that Narcan in my truck and give it to you. Because he just used all of his. And that's where they used. And they were, I didn't hang around with those guys because I'd go between them and my cousin. My cousin wouldn't let me bring needles in. And I would sneak them sometimes. But it was just easier. And I didn't mind it. He would let me stay there. I had a place to cook. I had a big TV to watch Netflix. And all I had to do was follow these rules of not using a needle. He was not cool with that at all. And I get it. It can get so dirty, especially with drug addicts. You can just... So, he helped me. He helped me a couple times. This last time, before I went, he let me stay there. His dog choked and almost died. I ended up doing I did the finger swab at first, but there's nothing I could do. His dog was so small, so I just jammed my finger down his throat, his chicken skin, and Fiona came back. She was an old teacup chihuahua, just a little tiny thing, frail, and she only survived another month. She ended up dying, but my cousin, when he thought because she was collapsing, and I didn't know what to do, he just went to the corner. He was just breaking down, crying because he'd already lost his parents. He had already went through his inheritance. It was quite a bit of money. No, when I showed up, it was gone. We were relying on me. But me and him cried together when he found out I was leaving for good because he was miserable. And he had been off probation for a couple of years, but he just used so much that he never did anything. You turn into a pile of goo. And, he was miserable. I've been there. I've been feeling so hopeless that it didn't matter. But the cool thing is, hopefully you have somebody in your life you can look up to, or there's some stupid statistic. If you have one strong person in your nuclear family, one just nothing super successful, one solid person that lives, there's a 50% chance that you can make it in recovery. There's all these things and people there's a 92% chance you're not going to make it in recovery, you're going to relapse, only 8% make it. That's 92% of the people that don't want it. My sponsor told me that 8% is actually 100% of the people that really want to get clean and want to deal with it, want to talk with that hard shit. Not a lot of people want to do that, and I get it. I'll never judge anybody because there's some fucking vile, sick shit in this world, and I've seen true evil, and I know what it means to find hell. And the Bible's a good manual to live by, but whatever. I ain't preachy. I study Buddhism. I know Buddhism enough. I've read it enough to know there's Buddha, the teacher. There's the wheel of Dharma, like the Dharma, the faces. It's like the lessons. Every face that you see on this earth is like the wheel of Dharma coming to teach you a lesson. And you got to figure out what that is. And then there's the saying, the community of sincere practitioners. So studying Buddhism and meditating and reading the Tao Te Ching in rehab this time has really allowed me to get closer to people in religion, like my family. Like I've always believed in Jesus. I've been a cultural Christian. Yeah, I've been a cultural Christian. Say that 5 times fast. Like, our calendar system, the days of the week, everything was built from the church. Whole communities, like the way we function in society is out of Christianity. On the other side of the world, it's from Islam. And, that's here too. Whatever, I'm not judging whatever you want to do. I'm just glad, like, Confucianism, and Taoism and all those Eastern things. I have the Bhagavad Gita. The Hindu readings are crazy. And I'm sorry, I know this is kind of a wild topic, but I kind of got triggered on New Year's in my meditation. I meditated for like a half hour, 45 minutes. And I thought I had a good video set up. A good half hour, 45, whatever, that's cool. I had a good half hour, 45 minutes meditation, and I started thinking about one of my really good friends, Jimmy. And he's got 3 sisters. One I don't know very well, but the other 2 got into recovery, and they're doing really good. Like we all 3 of us, no, there's just 2 of them. I went to his funeral. Like it's the only funeral I went to from somebody that's overdosed. I remember the first person that I really knew well that overdosed was Matt. Not Matt Allen. Matt Allen died too. Dang. I just forgot it. But anyway, his name was Matt. He was such a good dude. He's such a good kid. And you know what? We fell into the life. And you rely on that stuff. And oh man, I just remember being with these guys. Like, they're good people that, get stuck in an addiction. You have the wrong ideas. You don't want to ask for help. And, I didn't want help for a while. I wanted to, be stuck in my fucking bullshit. And I had to sit in my shit. It almost killed me many times. Like, I've learned some lessons the hard way. I've learned something about humility. Going to the VA for the 15th time, asking for help, and them telling me, no, there's nothing we can do for you. And, I knew that was my last chance, so... it was good to be rejected. I fought until they let me stay. But that's the last time I went to the Togus, Maine emergency room. And I left and did good. I did 8 months of treatment. A lot of groups. A lot of dialectic behavioral therapy. Man, there's such good shit, that you need. You have to... the drugs have nothing to do with it. You get away from the drugs, you find out you have all kinds of crazy behavioral character defects, obsessions, paranoia. Found out I had panic attacks. I figured that shit out of meditation. Mindfulness. They do a lot of that stuff in recovery. There's recovery everywhere. When I first started researching this, 7, 8 years ago, even before that a little, there were people online, but you can do it cold showers, and if you got to go to jail and you got to get over it and they're going to send you to rehab or you're going to jail for a long time, Cold showers can help you sleep. I was in jail for 12 days and I couldn't sleep at all. Maybe 15 minutes here and there. I couldn't really eat because I was really sick for an extended period of time a while ago. So, I don't know. This is your 2025 New Year's special. The 3 or 4 people that might see 20 seconds of this, make it 25 seconds. I'm pushing to make it a record. I just got a badge. Like, I think I got a whole couple hours of watch time. So, pass it on. Synonymous, anonymous. If you know somebody in addiction, send them this link and say, this motherfucker blew his life up, had midlife crisis, and now he's on his comeback. And everybody loves the hero's journey, baby. If you don't know what that is, look up Joseph Campbell. There's all kinds of shit in this world. Like, most people think men live 2 lives, women. And it wasn't until I started living my second life that I realized there's only one life, bro. And someday you're going to die. And the only thing you have that you can get is what you give. And to your kids is the only way you're going to stay in the memory of this world in any way, because everybody's going to forget you. Don't worry about that bullshit. The only way your spirit is going to survive is through what you teach your kids and how they perform in this life and what they do and how they teach their kids. That's how you survive, through your DNA, through your family's DNA. All of us are the survivors of think of all the men and all the battles of all the world. Our forefathers were the ones that didn't die. Gruesome, but like maybe a lot of them got fucking maimed, and like maybe one of them got their eye fucking poked out. Another one had his foot chopped off. My buddy in rehab stepped on a landmine and is missing the lower half of his legs. Man, I love that dude. I hope he's doing good. Like, fuck. I used to sit in my bed because I ran. I used to say, thank you. I'm so grateful I have my legs so I can run. Like, I tried to sit there and meditate for 10 minutes, 5 minutes maybe, like, whatever. And I would just try to imagine myself laying there with nothing below my kneecaps. I guess that's what started this video tonight. Spur of the moment was my meditation. Maybe I'll do a guided meditation sometime. Sometimes I like to I'll close my eyes and I'll do some deep breaths slow. Do at least 4 of those, very slow. Hold them in between and then I like to do the table meditation. In the center of my being, I envision a table with my mind's eye. And then I sit down at the table. In my conscience, I just wait to see who's going to sit down with me and see if they have anything to say to me. So let's see. I was just thinking about my boy Jimmy. I remember when he used to say, hey man, I fucking worry about you. I can remember that voice. I can remember how he moves and how he looked at me. You know what I mean? And that table meditation, he's just like, I love you and I'll always be with you. And even though that projection, some people might think that's his actual being coming with me, but I think it's just the memory of the elusiveness of the fucking ether and my imagination to do so. Maybe infinite amount of other things. It doesn't really matter. So, Happy New Year. I hope you figure out how you want to live your days, if you can get clean and sober, or if you just want recovery. Anybody can go to recovery. Anybody can go to a meeting, say, hey, my name is Wayman, my name is Synonymous Anonymous, and say, I'm an addict. You're just an addict or an alcoholic. That's it. Who cares? You don't even have to say that. Doesn't really fucking matter. Nobody cares. That's your ego. Like, nobody gives a fuck. That's why I'm doing this. It doesn't really matter. I know friends that would say, well, I wouldn't talk about what I did, about getting a job. And I'm like, I'm a welder. I went to school for mechanical engineering. If I go into any of that, it's because, and they need somebody, it's because they really need me. And they're not going to give a fuck. I would tell them. I would be straight up. I have 14 months clean and sober. I would tell them if I had 19 months. Because trust me, they would want me. I would be on time. I would be thoughtful. I would do things that other people wouldn't. Like, I've had a midlife crisis. I've had my life blow up. I can do shit, like, slow now. Like, I can be in a place by myself and be okay with myself now. It used to give me a lot of anxiety because I had a lot of racing thoughts about, all this bullshit in my life and all this shit, this unanswered fucking fucked up shit that happened to me. And I need somebody to feel bad for me, so I would get fucked up. And I was just so sad when I was away from my kids because that used to give me so much. That alone used to give me my worth, knowing that I was a father and I had a family. And when I lost that, I remember after a while, thinking I would just, I don't know. That's why they said you're slowly committing suicide. Because, I used to have to talk to people that were suicidal, had ideations, would plan it out, all that shit. And I would talk to them, and, somebody else didn't like that I was helping them or whatever, what I said. They're like, what you were doing was, they're like, some people call that suicide. And I was like, I agree. I was hopeless and didn't give a fuck, but I think it's a little different. I didn't really plan it. I just said, fuck it, which is like, you're in the same fucking zip code. So I ain't saying I'm better than nobody. It's just different. So any of that shit, all that shit, doesn't define you. That's just shit that happened. What you do and how you get through it, it's going to define you. Fuck all that shit. Who needs it? I don't give a fuck. So you shouldn't give a fuck. So listen, you can do it. Get in recovery. It's not going to be boring. There's shit you can do. You can fucking play the keyboard. You can make stupid fucking videos like I do. You can go to meetings and get your voice. You can go to the Denver fucking open mic club and go make an ass out of yourself and get used to it. Because the best thing you can do is getting used to failing and people fucking laughing at you. Because if somebody's laughing at you, it's because they fucking, it's so awesome to me. I wish somebody would laugh at me. Say, look at that idiot. I wish sometimes. I shouldn't. I just know they're out there. If I was put in front of somebody, said, hey, I'm fucking heroin junkie, recovered heroin junkie, and I'm on my way. So listen, you can do it. Get through the fucking hell. It's short. And then you're going to have to put in some work, which is just like speaking your mind. It's easy. Every day you do the same thing. And it's amazing. You know how you feel when you get the courage to tell another veteran or tell another brother or sister in the program some really deep shit that you thought fucking made you look like a scumbag, or if you worded it just right, it'd make you look fucked up, or this or that, or who fucking knows? Just the stank of that dumb shit on you, right? It don't matter. You can be forgiven. You can there's nothing that you've done that can't be forgiven. Nothing that you've done that can't be forgiven. I believe the only unforgivable sin is blasphemy. So that's when your heart gets hardened so much you could never ask for forgiveness. So, whatever. I'm not a Christian. I'm like culturally a Christian, which somebody might get mad at that. I don't know. I don't fucking care. So, listen. Stay healthy. Be strong. 2025. Get some.